We told you about the event that's going to be happening at the JCC. Sugar Ray Leonard, of course, one of the all-time greats, will be the keynote speaker. Third annual Jackie and Hank Herskowitz Sports Night Fundraiser, Thursday, August 17th, 7 to 10. And the great one, Sugar Ray, kind enough to join me for a couple moments. How are you, Ray?
Hey, Rich, how you doing, buddy? I heard your voice, but you never hear mine. And apparently you didn't hear my voice, did you?
No, I did not. That's all right. It's good to catch up with you, and I appreciate a couple moments. We'll get to the event in a second. And, you know, it's funny. I was going back the other day and just watching a bunch of fights from the 80s. And to me, I still think that was the heyday of boxing. I mean, to me, give me your thoughts on your career, especially in the 80s, because everybody was fighting everyone, whether it was you, Hearns, Hagler, Duran. It seemed like no one was ducking anyone.
Well, that was absolutely, because there was a plethora of fighters and talent. I mean, if you fought the guy who's he's a number 5 contender, that meant something. That was significant that he's a contender. In fact, I don't hear the word used anymore that he's a 3rd or 4th round contender. But boxing, man, I mean, I came up in an era where there was all-time greats with Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, Wilfred Benitez, Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
And you were right. We fought each other. You know, champions. We didn't say we were the best. We proved it by fighting the best.
Listen, it's different now. You know, with social media, everyone wants to talk. They want to go on Twitter. They want to go on Facebook. You get the camera in their face, and they want to call out guys. You're right. I mean, back in the day, even when you go back to the Olympics, you know, even in the amateur days, you know, these guys weren't taking a couple weeks off. Sometimes you guys would fight twice or 3 times in a day. And I had this conversation with Howard David. He said the same thing. Hey, you told me, Rich, one time I fought 3 times in one day. So.
Yes. But you know that made us better fighters, more seasoned fighters, more experienced fighters, and that's why most of the fighters were very versatile.
Yeah.
And could compete against anyone.
Well, I mean, look, the 76 team, I would always go back and forth, 76, 84, and you're talking 2 all-time great Olympic teams. I mean, you can't go wrong either way. I know you're biased towards 76, but I mean, my goodness. I mean, yeah, wall-to-wall, all-time greats and Hall of Famers with both those squads.
Oh, no question about that. You know, with the 1976 in Montreal, we had it felt like home. It felt like a second home. We were so close. We rooted each other on. We helped each other. I mean, I remember those days and those moments I would cherish for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it was a great, it was an unbelievable class. I know we're tight on time. I got you for a couple more minutes. What do you think of the state of amateur boxing right now in the U.S.? We saw the great run that Shakur Stevenson had, unlucky against Franco, the kid from Cuba in the Olympics, but now he's turned pro, obviously. But do you think, you know, do you like the rise of amateur boxing? Have you watched it a little more closely with the U.S.? Do you like where that direction is going?
You know what, Rich, I'm glad you asked that question because it's very important to me, because we had a platform. We had network television back in the day on amateur boxing. We fought the Russians. We fought the Cubans. We fought the UK. I mean, we had so much experience that we could fight anybody, and that's what's missing today.
Yeah, and you know, the worst thing about it is they also change the scoring, and a lot of times they would hand in, because I'm pretty well entrenched with the amateur circuit, doing a lot of New York Golden Gloves with DeBella and everything for the past 5, 6, 7 years. The scoring is so skewed now. They hand in the card before they even watch the round unfold. I think it's a disservice to the kids. I know it's different with the Olympics as well, but you kind of get a sense if a fighter is going to be tailor-made in the pros for what kind of style they have when they're an amateur. I mean, you know, you had that seamless transition, that flawless transition. I know I got you for a couple more minutes. I'm just curious. I got to go back to the Nomas fight and the Duran fight. Now, because I've always wanted to ask you this. Did you even know going in, you knew Duran's lifestyle, but did you know as soon as you went into the ring, you had him exactly where you wanted him?
Not until the first punch was thrown. You never know until the first, for me personally, until the first punch is thrown. And when my punch landed first, I said, this is it. This is it. You know, it's that simple, Rich.
Yeah. You know, welterweight division right now, Keith Thurman, Garcia, Porter. What do you think of Earl Spence?
Love those guys. I mean, all those guys, at any given moment, could beat each other. I mean, that's boxing. I mean, I've watched those guys for many years, and every day, every time, every fight, I see an improvement.
Yeah, I'm a huge Spence fan. I just think he's technically sound. He moves well. He's got great footwork. And you know what, too? You can tell with that amateur pedigree, right? You know this. You can tell the great amateur pedigree when the guys are continuously going back after they throw the combinations, going back to the jabs. And a lot of these young guys, they don't do it.
But, a lot of times it's instinctive. It just happens. And but Spence is one of those guys who has the whole package. I mean, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. Wow. Yep. That's a lot of talent.
Yeah, it's great to see that division. I mean, that is the hot division. All right, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the event. It's not a fight, Sugar. It's not. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask you Mayweather-McGregor.
It's a spectacle.
Okay, fine. That's fair. I agree with you on that one.
Yes.
It's not as bad for the sport as people think it is. It's not like it's going to help the sport. But you know this. It is a spectacle. I mean, come on. What?
It's going to help both. Put it this way. As far as I'm concerned, it's going to help both sports. I mean, there's never been so much press, social media on any sporting event as this event.
Come on, you would come out of retirement. You're not saying no to that payday.
No, not at all. But for me, it wasn't the payday.
I know it wasn't. Not when you fought. Not when you fought. It was a different animal.
I mean, but if you're getting paid $100 million, I mean, why fret at it? I just I just hope it lives up to the expectations, which is quite slim.
He's not going to land a glove on Mayweather. He's not.
We'll see.
Politically correct.
Rich, you can't miss it, right?
No, it's a train wreck.
It's a train wreck. You won't miss it.
Lastly, I know you're going to be the keynote speaker at the third annual Jackie and Hank Herskowitz Sports Night fundraiser. That'll be Thursday, August 17th, 7 to 10. That'll be at the Cats JCC. So it's going to be great for a lot of boxing fans and to have you come down here in the Atlantic City area. But I'm sure that's something that means a lot to you to be a keynote speaker for the event.
It means a lot to me. It's about giving back, reciprocating, and being a champ, not just in the ring, but outside the ring, Rich.
Well, listen, I'm glad we finally tracked you down for a couple more. Hey, listen, I appreciate the flexibility, right? Listen, it's like a fight. Sometimes you got to throw out the plan. You got to go to game B. So we worked, and we got you in for a couple rounds.
Game C.
All right, Rich. You got it, Sugar. We'll see you August 17th. I appreciate it. A couple moments, pal. Be well.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, you got it. Sugar Ray Leonard.